Hello friends, welcome to day 2 review of the second test of the India versus West Indies test series played at Arun Jaitley Stadium in New Delhi on Saturday. For the second consecutive day, India sitting pretty at stumps with a overall lead of 378 after declaring their first innings at 518 for 5, batting an hour after lunch on Saturday. West Indies, for once, put up a better show with the bat, though some of the batsmen who got starts have themselves to blame for their own dismissals. And of course, the Indian spin trio of Washington Sundar, Kuldeep Yadav, and Ravindra Jadeja kept a tight leash on the West Indies batsmen. Jadeja 3 wickets and Kuldeep Yadav 1 were the wicket takers for India as West Indies went to stumps at 140 for the loss of 4 wickets. Why I said West Indies put up a better show with the bat is that they have batted for 43 overs and lost only 4 wickets. Much better show compared to the first test, where in both the innings they lasted 44.1 overs and 45.1 overs respectively. So West Indies still have a long way to go. Shai Hope has the hopes of West Indies batting rest on Shai Hope. A brilliant batsman, a very talented batsman who has not done justice to his talent, and that's reflecting on his poor test averages. Playing in over 40 test matches and not even accumulating 2000 test runs doesn't speak well of Shai Hope and his talent. West Indies were unlucky in the manner in which their left-handed opener John Campbell got out, sweeping Ravindra Jadeja in only his first over, second delivery. It was a full-fledged sweep, John Campbell, but he found Sai Sudarshan in the way at forward short leg. Sai Sudarshan was taken an evasive action, but such was the luck that the ball just lodged into Sai Sudarshan's hand, injuring his wrist in the process. But then that's unfortunate dismissal of John Campbell and West Indies losing their first wicket. But then it was a neat little partnership of 61 for the second wicket between Tej Narain Chanderpaul and Alik Athanase. The going was good, they were tested, but it was another Jadeja dismissal. Chanderpaul edging and caught at lone slip by KL Rahul in the third attempt. There ended the partnership. But then Alik Athanase, who is spoken of as a bright talent and who has scored some runs for West Indies, had himself to blame for the slog against Kuldeep Yadav in the first ball of a new spell that the left arm wrist spinner came into, and Alik Athanase, batting on 41, was caught at mid wicket. So at least two dismissals were unfortunate. 2 dismissals were of the batsman's mistakes, and in the end Roston chase did not last long, and it was a tame dismissal, the 4th of the West Indies wicket to fall and the 3rd for Ravindra Jadeja. Roston chase tapping it back to the bowler for one of the easiest dismissals one can find in Test cricket. So stumps, West Indies 378 runs behind, and it looks like a tall task, not going to be easy. And considering that the pitch was keeping low and slow, and on which Jadeja will be difficult to play, so also Kuldeep and Washington Sundar, I foresee West Indies being bowled out before lunch in their first innings on day 3 on Sunday, and India enforcing follow-on to try and finish off the match in 3 days. If not, than in the first session on day 4 on Monday. But the day was all about Shubman Gill. The first half of the day was all about Shubman Gill reaching his first test century as captain on home soil and Yashasvi Jaiswal's act of madness running himself out. Resuming day 2 on Saturday at their overnight score of 318 for 2, India added 200 more runs before declaring their first innings at 518 for 5. The highlight of the inning of the first session and a half was Shubman Gill's first test century as captain on Indian soil. Shubman Gill has made this year 2025 his own as far as test cricket is concerned, scoring those 4 memorable hundreds in his first series as captain in England, and he continued that fine form, scoring a 50, missing out on a century in Ahmedabad last week, but he ensured that he did not falter this time at Arun Jaitley Stadium. Shubman Gill, fantastic, playing his strokes, not taking much time in the morning to score his first of 2 sixes, rather the only 6 of his innings, and Shubman Gill in the company of first Nitish Reddy for the 4th wicket and later with Dhruv Jurel for the 5th wicket shared some invaluable runs. But the morning, second over of the day, or in fact the 8th delivery of the day, Yashasvi Jaiswal just threw away his wicket. There was no run at all. It was not a situation where you needed a run to win off the last ball. He was well settled, 175 batting, well in sight, or he was sure to get a double hundred, if not a triple, but he had to blame himself for running himself out. Pushing medium pacer Jayden Seals to mid-off, he took off, calling for a single, but Shubman Gill at the non-striker's end was not interested. It was not as if the ball was going away from the fielder, Tej Narain Chandrapal in this instance, but it was going straight into the hands, and Yashasvi Jaiswal was just committing suicide. He ran more than half the pitch, sent back, but was too late to regain his crease as Chandrapal's throw to wicketkeeper Tevin Imlach was caught short. It was a needless run. Shubman Gill rightly standing his foot. Yashasvi Jaiswal, not for the first time in his test career, has done a similar mistake. In the Boxing Day test match of 24-25, he was batting well, 82, well in sight of 100, missed out. He drove into the hands of Pat Cummins at mid-on, took off for a single. Virat Kohli, least interested in that because it was going straight into the hands of the fielder, not going either side, or it was past the fielder. Yes, it would have been Yashasvi Jaiswal's call. He was running into the danger area, but it was still a non-existent run. It was test match, so much of time left in the game. It was only the second ball of the second day's play, and India sitting in a commanding position. There was no need for Yashasvi Jaiswal to risk a run and put himself into a precarious position, or his batting partner in a precarious position. Needless. Yashasvi Jaiswal himself to blame for missing out on a double hundred. It would have been his third double hundred in tests, but he had to return to the pavilion for 175 runs. Until then, batted beautifully, but this act of madness from Yashasvi Jaiswal has undone all the good work that he has done in reaching 175. Yes, he shared that partnership of 193 with Sai Sudarshan for the second wicket on the opening day on Friday. He did well to bat to score 175 runs all along the ground without a six, and he ought to have batted sensibly, taken a sensible decision, and not risked himself and ran himself out. That apart, Shubman Gill, what a cool captain he is. When he was named captain for the first time, I had my own doubts, but then he has turned out to be a good batsman with the burden of captaincy or the responsibility of captaincy, and he has not let the pressures of captaincy affect his batting. In fact, he has been going from strength to strength, 400s, 900 plus runs in this calendar year 2025, 750 plus runs in England alone in 5 tests, including 400s. That includes 200s in the same test. Shubman Gill is here to stay, not only as India's batsman but also as India's captain, and recently, only last week, was rewarded with the ODI captaincy also. So Shubman Gill declaring India's innings after Dhruv Jurel was out to off-spinner Roston Chase, who came well late into the day, the ball keeping low. Dhruv Jurel, who batted at number 5 in the first test, scored a memorable 100, was pushed down to number 6 to allow Nitish Kumar Reddy to bat at number 5. Nitish Kumar also lost out on an opportunity. He was looking good, had a life when he was dropped. A straightforward, simple chance at mid-off, dropped by Anderson Phillip at mid-off, off the bowling of left-arm spinner Warrican. 20 runs, he only doubled it up and was eventually out for 43. Needless playing in the air and giving Warrican his third wicket. So Nitish Reddy 43 out, adding 91 for the fourth wicket with Shubman Gill, and later it was Dhruv Jurel, who was compact, looking good, playing his strokes before being done in by that ball which kept low, got the inside edge and clean bowled him. At that moment, 1 hour after resumption post lunch, India declared at 518 for 5.